Turkish might seem like an alien language and the last one that you'd think of learning, but I happen to know that Turkish is incredibly cool. And if you want to know what I know, or what I think I know, then stay tuned for 11 reasons why you should definitely learn Turkish.
Kulağına küpe olsun. Kulağına küpe olsun. Which is literally translated into let this be a ring to your ear. What does that mean? Well, it actually means let this be a lesson.
Kes sesini is shut up in Turkish. Kes, it means to cut, and ses is voice, and it's like cut your voice, and shut up.
Hectic! Okay, I have one too. See if you could decipher this Turkish proverb, and we'll come back to it at the end. Turkish is a tricky language, but not because of the grammar. It's because they talk so much in proverbs and idioms.
Lick your palm, lick your palm.
You are saying it to someone.
Get ready to work.
No.
When you start getting into it, you realize that Turkish idioms and proverbs are absolutely awesome. They can be wise or weird or really quirky, and to Turks, they're insanely important. They seem to have one for every single occasion. I'm talking 10,000 sayings that people use all the time. And lick your palm means you are denying somebody.
Okay, a bit aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Yeah.
I made you a fun list of Turkish wisdom right here. They have a special name for it that means words of our ancestors. I should actually steal this one here for story learning. It says one language, one person, two languages, two people. And it means anyone who speaks two languages is considered two people. Far more interesting than just being bilingual, don't you think? Did you guess what this idiom means? Okay, I don't know the exact meaning, but now it's fun because you can tell me what you think it means. My guess is, in love, you'd better know how to be discreet.
I don't think I can try this one.
Lots of dots.
Let's start with what you are supposed to call the country now. Turkiye. Go on, guys, give it a try.
Turkey.
We've got to all start strengthening the new Turkiye brand, and it's really fun to say, like lots of other Turkish words. Look, Turkish pronunciation is tricky at first, but it's also really consistent. This means that once you've learned how to pronounce the sounds, you can focus on the fun aspect of learning it.
Let's learn how to pronounce Turkish actors' names. Kıvanç Tatlıtuğ, Çağatay Ulusoy, Aras Bulut İynemli.
Yeah, it does look pretty crazy, doesn't it? But names can be a fun way to practice the unique sound combinations. You're going to need the practice when you get to amazing words like this.
That's not a word.
Afyonkarahisarlaştıramadıklarımızdan mısınız?
Hey, if you are not much of a talker, Turkish has other options.
That's basically saying no. And you will hear a lot of Turkish people do this, especially the older generation. I don't know if they don't know how to say no, which is hayır in Turkish, but I just assume that it's a cultural thing.
Similar to Morse code, the bird language transforms the full Turkish vocabulary into varied pitch frequencies and melodic lines.
Parmaktan parmağa değişir bir dil. Ha bu baş parmaklarım kalın çıkardı sesi. Böyle. Küçük parmaklarımın ince olduğunu sesleri.
And it is not a dialect, guys. It's all Turkish. If you combine this with what's coming next, you can skip talking altogether.
Pardon. Yeah, that means I want a cup of tea.
Beş kardeş geliyor bak. Yaptığın yaramazlığa bakar mısın? Her yeri mahvetmişsin bak. Beş kardeş geliyor bak.
Turkish could give Italian a run for its money with all these crazy hand gestures of which I often partake. Want some practice? Well, go on and click these 3 buttons over here because now you're talking Turkish.
Aysel, git başımdan. Ben sana göre değilim. Ölümüm birden olacak, seziyorum. Hem kötüyüm, karanlığım, biraz çirkinim. Aysel, git başımdan. İstemiyorum.
One of the cool things you can do in Istanbul is go to one of the poetry and literature festivals. Poetry is huge in Turkey. I read a news article that said the city in itself is an ever-flowing poetry.
Ey oğul, ağzımda senin ateşinden bir ateş var. O ateşin beni nasıl yandırdığını söyleyemem. Zira dilime yüzlerce mühür vurulmuş, bağlanmış.
This poem was written in medieval Turkish, so I guess it's a bit like reading Shakespeare, something more advanced to aim for, and why not? Turkish is a beautiful language that can sound very melodic, and the poetry especially can be super interesting because of a lovely thing called vowel harmony. You might have heard of it. Vowel harmony is a thing Turkish vowels do. They're grouped into two sets, each set pronounced differently, and most of the time a Turkish word will only have vowels from one set. Take these two words here. In the first word, O and U and E are in the same vowel set, and in this word, the vowels are part of the other set. Why do we care? Well, because this neat little trick does exactly what it is advertising. It makes your speech sound lovely and harmonious, but don't be fooled. The main point was really to make less effort when speaking. And this is why vowel harmony exists, so your words will flow without getting your poor mouth all tired. But there is more. Even the way people greet each other sounds poetic. Like instead of saying good morning or good night, Turks say, the day is bright and the night is bright. Don't you love that? And they refer to their loved ones as my breath, my eyes, my life. I'm quite liking Turkish.
Sevgili, en sevgili, ey sevgili, uzatma dünya sürgünümü benim.
Seriously, a president who begins his speech with poetry? Why don't we all have one of those? Well, the way a poem pulls you into an alternate world is a lot like stories. In fact, great stories are what we are all about here at Story Learning. We actually teach languages like Turkish through stories right here, even including books that I've written in Turkish with stories. Stories are the best way to learn any language. It's how we learn naturally. It's more fun, it's more effective, and that's what we all want for language learning, is it not? If you'd like to learn more about it, I'm going to give you a very cool, it's a link down below to a Story Learning kit. Got the words out eventually. It's a Story Learning kit. It's completely free. It shows you exactly how we teach languages here through the power of stories. So if you're curious, don't waste it. It's completely free. Click the link below and get involved. This is amazing. In the 1950s, they found the oldest known written song in a part of Syria that used to be part of Anatolia, i.e. Turkey. It's more than 3,400 years old and was preserved on a clay tablet written in the ancient Hurrian text. It's kind of like guitar tabs, but for the lyre. And with the oldest civilizations in the world, you get absolutely tons of this crazy good history stuff.
Since its excavation, Çatalhöyük has become one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world due to its age, sheer size, and the amazing artwork found there in the form of wall paintings and what are presumed to be religious objects.
This is another one of my favorites. It's one of the earliest settlements in the world, built 8,800 years ago. It was a labyrinth of 150 mud homes joined together. But the best part is there were no streets in between, so people had to climb into their homes through holes in the roof. So what do you think of that? Stories like these are why learning Turkish will open really exciting doors for you if you love culture. Modern Turkey was influenced by lots of different empires, and there are first-hand accounts written by famous explorers like this guy. In the 1600s, he kept a travel journal that describes his adventures from Istanbul to Egypt and 40 years of the Ottoman Empire. I mean, can you just imagine? If you're a history or literature buff and you show up at the right door, you might even get lucky enough to see the original manuscripts. You just need to learn to read a certain language first. This is a little mysterious, and I don't know why they did it, but there's a complex maths equation on the money. More precisely, it's on the 10 lira bill. The formula is called the Arf invariant. Now, I do not claim to understand this, and I for sure don't know why it's on the money, but it's very, very cool. And this got me thinking about other clever Turkish things. There's a Turkish writer who wrote some fascinating books, like one famous controversial book called The Disconnected. It's a story full of legendary, untranslatable word games, and even UNESCO had something to say about it. It poses an earnest challenge to even the most skilled translator with its kaleidoscope of colloquialisms and sheer size. If you know the English book Ulysses, this will make sense to you. It's written in a style called stream of consciousness, where you try to capture a character's exact train of thought. Trust me, reading this style in your own language is hard, and it's very rare to find translated Turkish literature in English. So about that brain challenge, if you nail this, I'll make you a superstar in my book.
Bana iş bul dedin, ben de sana iş buldum.
Now, do you like being glued to the screen so hard that you forget to even blink? Well, if you start watching Turkish movies, this will happen to you because there are some real tear-jerkers in the Turkish cinematic world. If you don't have a stone for a heart, that is. There is one called The Miracle that starts off like a weird comedy, then kicks the breath right out of you. Seriously good cinema. Turks are known for masterpieces like this, and you could watch one right now with the English subtitles and love it. But remember what I said about Turkey and idioms? You see, you're going to miss a lot if you don't understand the original Turkish. By the way, the big Turkish actors, they are phenomenal. It won't take long for you to have some real favorites. And next time you're in Turkey, you can take in the amazing Istanbul Film Festival.
You know the place of Ankara? Ben Türkçe, ben yabancı bir anlamam. Do you speak English? Yok.
If you've never even heard someone speaking Turkish, well, don't worry, you will when you do lots of traveling. Turkish is one of the top 20 most spoken languages in the world. It's an official language in Turkey, Cyprus, and Northern Cyprus. And you'll also hear Turkish spoken in all these countries, not to mention the many places with immigrants like Germany with a wild 1.5 million Turks. But I know the best people to speak Turkish to.
Merhaba. Kami? Bizim Pola. Okay. Just looking. No Turkish, no Turkish.
Koş bir de yanda.
If you want to experience something phenomenal and completely different to your normal life, well, learn Turkish and then go spend some time with traditional villagers. I chose this one especially for you guys, the skill you've always wanted to have. Turkey has some pretty out there dance style, so why not add to your repertoire and have heaps of fun along the way? You probably won't get away with dancing like this back home. There are so many cool options: belly dancing, Romani, gypsy dancing, whatever your feet want to do. Just don't go taking a Turkish dance class in English, because we ain't speaking ever again if you do. If you have ever looked at Turkey on a map, strategically positioned right behind me, did you notice it is in Europe and Asia? That's because it connects the Western world to the Middle East, and turns out this makes it pretty important. The US Department of State actually considers Turkish a critical language. You see, not many Turks speak English, even though Turkey is a major player in international business. It's one of the top 20 economies in the world and attracts a lot of foreign investors. One of the cool perks is that they have these good incentive programs, and foreign investors get equal treatment with domestic investors. So if you fancy doing business with Turkish companies and you like the idea of standing head and shoulders above your competitors, well, put yourself in that niche category. Most of your colleagues probably don't speak Turkish, but hey, you could be that person, you know, the one who brings your company a lot more business.
So if you cannot speak Turkish in Turkey, then I think it's gonna be hard for you. Try to learn conversational level Turkish. Turkish people are very helpful actually. Even though you cannot speak perfectly, they will understand, they will try to communicate.
The first time one of my friends said that they were leaving to go and live in Turkey, I wondered what on earth they were on about. It seemed like such a random thing to do. Turkey to live? But he was completely obsessed with this idea, and after spending time in the country myself, I get it. It's just this gigantic world of East meets West, and you will definitely never be bored at the weekend again. It is crazy how you walk past these ancient structures just like on your way to work. But here's the truly mind-blowing part, in my opinion. The turquoise coast. Seriously, it's actually called that. The turquoise coast is partly Mediterranean and partly Aegean, and it's so stunning that once upon a time, Mark Antony gave it to Cleopatra as a wedding gift. Now, natural disasters aside, it's a fantastic country. If you're smart and know where to look and what areas to avoid, you can have a very satisfying lifestyle in Turkey. The one catch is that only 17% of the country speaks English, so you should probably, you get it yet? Learn Turkish.
Now it's safe to say that my Turkish is at native speaker levels. Don't believe me? Ya inanmıyor ya. Gerçekten diyorum. Çok güzel Türkçe konuşuyorum ben.
Listen, you can get by in Turkey if you just learn 500 to 1,000 vocabulary words. It will be a bit tricky at first, but the nice thing about Turkish is that it follows consistent rules and has a system that will make sense to you. Even spelling is straightforward once you get the hang of it. Did you notice Turkish uses Latin letters, not Arabic? Well, here's a little teaser for you. The tricky part is how the language is actually used, and that's why you should spend time in Turkey, get a feel for how everyday people talk. And in the meantime, spoil yourself with some Turkish storybooks like this one here, and watch this video over here to find out exactly how hard Turkish is to learn.